When a support department like IT or HR constantly clashes with the rest of the company, the symptoms are obvious: missed deadlines, endless email chains, and visible frustration. The root cause, however, is often a blind spot. The struggling department simply cannot see how its daily workflows impact the teams relying on them. To fix this, we use a targeted intervention called organizational mirroring. This is a structured process where a specific team observes its own performance and behavior strictly through the eyes of its internal customers. This checklist outlines the exact plan we will build today. By the end of this video, you will have a complete, ready-to-launch facilitation sequence covering 4 distinct phases: preparation, the workshop itself, action planning, and a mandated follow-up. We are going to establish a precise structural realignment.
By forcing a team to objectively process external feedback, we can convert a departmental bottleneck into a collaborative enabler. Phase 1 begins by identifying your host group. This is the specific unit seeking to improve its relationships. Before proceeding, the facilitator must secure a clear commitment from this group's leadership that they are actually willing to absorb feedback and change their operations. Next, you will draft the guest list. You need to select representatives from the other departments that frequently interact with the host group and depend on their output. You must actively avoid creating an echo chamber here. If you only invite guests who already have frictionless, positive relationships with the host, the exercise will fail to uncover the systemic issues causing the friction. Once the guest list is set, the facilitator steps in to conduct private, one-on-one interviews with every invited representative. This happens weeks before any group meeting takes place. This document is a themes checklist. You will use the data from the pre-interviews to populate this list, synthesizing dozens of individual complaints into central grievances, like communication delays or an unclear ticketing process, alongside any positive feedback. Consolidating these specific themes in advance dictates the agenda. It ensures the upcoming meeting focuses on solvable operational patterns rather than devolving into an unstructured venting session. Phase 2 is the mirroring workshop itself. To maintain control, you will divide the schedule into 3 strict consecutive acts: a feedback session, a clarification Q&A, and small group dialogue. This schematic shows the fishbowl setup. Guest representatives sit in an inner circle to discuss their perceptions. The host group forms an outer ring, positioned exclusively to observe. While the inner circle speaks, hosts must maintain absolute silence, locked into a listen-only mode. Human instinct is to immediately defend against criticism. The facilitator must ruthlessly enforce this silence, stopping any host group member who attempts to explain, justify, or interrupt. Once the feedback session concludes, you transition into the second act, the clarification Q&A. The host group is now permitted to speak, but their statements are restricted entirely to asking clarifying questions to ensure they fully understand the mechanics of the issues raised. This is the physical transition required for the third act. Participants are redistributed into small, mixed groups, containing both host members and guest representatives. You will assign each of these mixed tables one of the specific friction points identified on your pre-interview checklist. Their directive is to brainstorm tangible, operational solutions to those exact problems. By shifting the format from isolated, silent listening into active, mixed brainstorming, both factions are required to take shared ownership of the interdepartmental workflows. Phase 3 demands that you convert the goodwill of that brainstorming session into hard commitments before anyone leaves the room. This is an action plan matrix. The host group will use this exact template to log the solutions, filling out the columns for the specific action item, the person it is assigned to, the deadline, and the expected outcome. A commitment to improve communication is unacceptable because it cannot be measured. A successful matrix entry looks like: IT will standardize the new hire onboarding ticket system by October 1st, managed by Sarah. If you assume the work ends when the workshop concludes, all operational accountability will vanish within a month. This brings us to Phase 4, the follow-up. As this calendar illustrates, a formal review meeting must be scheduled for 3 to 6 months in the future. We call this the mirror reflection review. The calendar invites for this future meeting must be sent to all original workshop participants, while the current workshop is still happening. Documenting measurable commitments and guaranteeing a future review date together solidify temporary workshop momentum into permanent, measurable change. You now possess the complete framework required to break down organizational silos and optimize how your departments interact. Looking back at our checklist, we have successfully defined the preparation requirements, the fishbowl workshop rules, the action plan matrix, and the mandatory follow-up protocol. Executing these steps systematically produces clear agreements between previously fractured groups, aligning their daily outputs with actual business needs.